I'm about to completely flip your understanding of what it takes to sound like a jazz master. The big problem is you think you need complex licks and exotic scales to sound professional. So you're stuck practicing harder and harder material, getting frustrated because you're not getting any better. Here's the truth. Masters use simple patterns in sophisticated ways. So in this video, I'll show you how the simplest pattern, the 1, 2, 3, can transform your playing from basic to master in 5 simple steps using Wynton Marsalis' classic solo on Perdido as an example. My name is Chase Maddox, and I help nearly 200 people every day inside Chase's Guitar Academy. This lesson has 5 levels, 5 simple steps really, and you're definitely gonna wanna stick around for number 5 because I haven't seen anyone else really talk about this in a practical way. Level 1, I'm gonna show you the secret starting places that can take these simple patterns from basic to elevated. Level 2, we'll talk about the rhythmic trick that instantly makes you sound more advanced. Level 3, we'll talk about how to create endless variations from one simple idea. Level 4, I'll show you how you can double the amount of material you're gonna get from just any simple pattern. And level 5 is the storytelling method for unforgettable solos. By the end of this video, you'll know how to take simple ideas and turn them into sophisticated melodies that will make you sound like you've been playing professionally for decades. So let's start off by understanding first, what is this 1, 2, 3 pattern? And we'll do it with the B flat major scale, B flat, C, D, E flat, F, G, A, and B flat. All right, 2 octaves. The 1, 2, 3 pattern is any 3 consecutive notes from this scale. Now it could be starting on the actual root, B flat, playing that as 1, 2, 3, but it doesn't need to be. We could start on another note, like the 3rd. And that's its own 1, 2, 3 type of pattern. Or even the major 7th, starting on A. Now let's recognize that part, that simple 1, 2, 3 pattern in the opening of Wynton's solo here. So if we listen to that first level of this is we take that 1, 2, 3 pattern, and what Wynton is doing is he's not just playing it from the root, B flat, root of the scale, or even the root of the chord. He's moving it around to other starting points. So at the very beginning of this, the chord we're playing over is C minor for Perdido, but instead of playing this from C or from the scale B flat, Wynton's playing it from the 5th, G, A to B flat. And then when we get to the B flat major 7, he plays it from that major 7th. So the first step is just make sure you're comfortable playing this pattern from different parts of the scale. Now, if you heard that first part, you might go, hey Chase, well he's not just playing the 1, 2, 3 pattern there. Now, in a sense, that is true. But what I want you to do, this level 2, is use lead-in notes. So our core melody here is the 1, 2, 3 pattern. That's the part we remember, and it's really like that is the fundamental unit that Wynton is using to improvise his solo. But he does add in other notes for interest and for rhythmic effect. And so I call these lead-in notes. And the first one we get is going into the first part of the top of the chorus, leading into it, he plays this D. And then leading into the B flat major 7, he plays C a couple times. So those notes help us embellish that simple 1, 2, 3 idea. If we didn't do that, it would sound a little basic, right? We just have, it's okay. You get the core of the melody, but it doesn't really sound interesting. It doesn't really catch our attention, especially because it's playing that idea, just starting on the downbeat. And those lead-in notes give us that forward motion by coming in as an 8th note on an upbeat. So that's very important rhythmically. So level 2, this rhythmic upgrade, is using those lead-ins to come in on the upbeat. Level 3 is what I call repeat and move. So we want to repeat the idea, but it would be kind of boring if we're just playing the same idea in the same place. You can do that for a little bit of time, but then it really starts to get kind of numbing to the mind. So we repeat, but we move it around to a different part of the scale. In a sense, it's combining this level of repetition with the first level of having different starting points. And so Wynton does that with this phrase. 1, 2, 3. So what he's doing here is we have this first 1, 2, 3 pattern, B flat, C, and D, and we repeat it, but we now start just one note lower in the scale. So starting on B flat, starting on A, starting on G, starting on F, starting on E flat, and then D. You also will notice that when he's moving this idea around, he's also moving how he's playing it rhythmically. So we're not just playing the exact rhythm of, it would get kind of dull. So as the idea goes around, you want to give some variation in what you're playing so that it is interesting to the listener. So you start off at least a couple of times with the same rhythmic idea, so that establishes that in the listener's ear, and then change it up so it breaks their expectation. So what I would do to practice this is take a scale, again, we're doing this B flat major, and let's start on the root. Let's play this very simply. Up a 1, 2, 3, and then do it from every other note in that scale. And this time we'll move that note descending, just like Wynton does in his solo. So B flat, C, D, from A, from G, actually use that in a solo, we want to use it musically, changing up the rhythm and playing with the idea. Now, level 4 is a little bit of a secret sauce one, and you might not even recognize it as the 1, 2, 3 pattern. And this is what I call changing octave and order. So let me explain this for a second. So in our 1, 2, 3 pattern, let's say we had these 3 notes, C, D, and E flat. That's our 1, 2, 3. They're all within this same octave, right? Within an 8-note span consecutive. What you can do with this 1, 2, 3 pattern, or any simple 3-note pattern, is change the octave of one of those notes. And it's really, really effective at being able to use the same material, but have it sound completely different. So Wynton does that here on the second 8-bar phrase. He's taking these 3 notes, C, D, and E flat, but that E flat is dropped down an octave to here. So we get D, C, E flat. Totally different sound then. All of those are very close together. Now we get some different intervals with that jump. But it's still those 3 same consecutive notes, C, D, E flat. Also, you'll notice we're changing the order of those notes. So it's not just 1, 2, 3. We have 2, 1, 3. So changing both of those, the octave and the order. And he plays around with this idea. He repeats it and moves it. He does it even further on this next part. Instead of E flat, G, and F, that G goes down an octave. So we get F, E flat, G, and then he continues that idea, E flat, D, and F. One, two, three. Without that octave change, we just simply would have some very basic idea, but we can turn a basic idea into music if we are creative and understand these very simple switches that I'm teaching you. If you guys are enjoying this lesson and want to learn more about the essential jazz patterns, how to turn these ideas into music with essential jazz vocab, I have 2 brand new courses that are out now inside Chase the Guitar Academy, and you get instant free access for 7 days by signing up in the link below. Now, Wynton's not the only guy who uses this idea of changing the order of the notes or the octave. There's another idea that Miles Davis used in his Milestones solo, which I teach in my Master Standards Blueprint course, which is very, very simple, but it's aligned with what we're doing today in the 1, 2, 3 pattern. We start on the first note of our 1, 2, 3 pattern. Here we'll do A, B flat, and C. You play it twice, skip up to the 3 of your pattern, and come to the middle note. We can do that from any starting point of our scale. So what I want you guys to get from this is that basic patterns are used all the time in very famous solos by very famous musicians, the masters of their craft. And if you're out here trying to learn all 5 Pat Martino activities instead of focusing on very fundamental patterns and how to create music out of them, you're going to be lost. You're going to not know how to actually improvise in a melodic way, in a creative way that is the spirit of jazz. Okay, so let's talk about level 5 now. And this is a bit of an advanced level that assumes you already have the fundamental control of these patterns, of improvising and making music out of them. But I want to show you guys this because it will change your understanding of how to tell a story over the course of a solo. And the general idea here is your solo needs to develop, like a character develops or a plot develops in a story. We want our melody to develop. So how do we develop a melody? What can you do? I've shown you some very simple things you can do to develop a melody on sort of a micro scale. We can repeat an idea, we change the octave, we change the order of the notes, we change the rhythm. These things we showed in earlier levels. What you can do on a macro level is think about your solo from a bigger perspective. So what Wynton does in this first 4 bars of his solo is he's mainly playing an idea based around some eighth notes and quarter notes, right? So that's the first 4 bars. Think about this first 4 bars is very simple idea stated as mainly quarter notes. Then the second 4 bars, we take that idea and we develop it further rhythmically, right? A lot of times the development of the melody comes from developing the rhythm. One way to do this, is not every possible way, is to change the focus of your rhythm and going from a slower rhythm to a faster rhythm. Quarter note now to eighth notes develops that idea. So that's what he does. First 4 bars is mainly quarter note. Second 4 bars is mainly eighth notes with the same idea, right? We get a lot more eighth notes, a lot more notes in general. Our ear perceives that as developing the idea. Okay, so then we have those 8 bars. That's the first statement. Next 8 bars, the first 4 bars of that second part is again quarter notes, but with this octave change. Very similar to his first 4 bars. Then what does he do after that? After that 4 bar phrase? More eighth note development of the idea. So hopefully you can see just at a very, very first part, just the very basic level of storytelling here before he gets into the next part of the solo. And then if we were going to look at the entire solo, you can see how someone at Wynton's level has internalized a way of telling a musical story. He is absolutely not thinking about this in the moment. Oh, I'm going to do these 4 bars and then I'm going to develop. That's not the point. He is a practiced and studied musician who has internalized a way of developing these ideas, right? He's practiced these simple patterns and he's practiced developing them. So that's what you guys need to do. Now in Chase Guitar Academy, Perdido is going to be one of the next songs we study, including this whole first chorus of Wynton's solo for tritone substitutions and all of the other great ways to apply basic, simple, essential jazz patterns. 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 5, and the 1, 2, 3, 5 patterns. If you guys want to learn more about the essential jazz patterns, you should check out this video where I break down my master improvisation blueprint. And if you guys want to level up your playing today and check out the full Essential Jazz Patterns course, Essential Jazz Vocab course, and Master Standards Blueprint, among a bunch of other stuff, you can just sign up to Chase Guitar Academy on a 7-day free trial. The price does go up July 15th. So if you are locked in as a member before then, you get to stay at your current rate. Just want to mention that so that after that fact, people aren't saying that they weren't made aware. Let me know if you guys dug this lesson, and I'll see you guys in the next video.